Hello, welcome back to Beauty Bee and to another Shop My Stash video. I think this is the 5th video already, which is kind of wild, but I think this project has been really successful in that I've been rotating through my things a little bit more, really getting to know some things that I hadn't previously, and just really thoughtfully working through things. So there's actually a little bit of a change this week in that I now have this acrylic organizer that's going to be my Shop My Stash holder. Not everything in here is from Shop My Stash. I also just keep some things that I want to be making a point of using, or, sorry if that's rattling everywhere, feel that I need to have easily available. So, for example, I've got my one chapstick, I've got my matte powder, my primer, this little acne gel, and eye primers, just those little things that I like being able to have not in a drawer, just very easy, available right there, the kinds of things that I use most, if not every day. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Shop My Stash items. And we'll start with the one I'm wearing, which are these earrings. They're these little square rhinestone studs, and I have really regained my appreciation for these over the past couple weeks. I think I mentioned in the original, or in the last video, that I had 2 pairs of rhinestone studs and that I wanted to see if these were even worth keeping around when I had the other ones. And while I do like the style of the other ones more, I realized that I can't actually wear those for days at a time, even when I take them out to shower and things, because they leave a little bit of like a greenish residue on my ear after day 2. And that's not unusual for me. I am somewhat prone to a little bit of allergic reactions to some metals, but these don't give me any problems. And they're a similar size. These are a little bit thicker, and the other ones are round, which I actually prefer. But, you know, I also prefer not having an allergic reaction, so we like these. And I think I'll be wearing them quite a bit. I also wanted to make a point of using these earrings, which are orange beaded drop earrings. I probably only wore them once, maybe twice. I'm realizing that I just don't own a lot of orange anymore, and while I'm guessing that wearing this shirt with these, or I have another Halloween shirt that has quite a bit of orange on it, with these will come up a couple times during the month of October. I don't think that these are going to start making regular appearances unless I start wearing a little more orange or just change up my style a little bit in other ways. But I like them. I'm glad that I at least wore them once or twice, and now I think I will actually remember to wear them. I think this stuff ruined my hair. This is the OGX Mist. This is the coconut one, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think about a week after I started using this, I actually shopped my stash for this the time before, so it's been like 5 weeks that I've been using this. I've started to get like significant dry patches in my scalp, which is not a problem I usually deal with. The only other time I've dealt with it, in fact, at least as an adult, was this summer when I used an OGX shampoo for a few weeks. So I think this is the culprit. I'm going to keep it, but I'm gonna just put it away for a few weeks and see if my hair and my scalp clear up. If not, this is just gonna go in the bin. This is minimum 4 years old, so I wouldn't want to pass this on to anyone, especially if it ruined my hair, because that is just a glowing recommendation. Okay, I think what we have left to talk about are these 2 palettes. Let's start with this little elf quad. I counted it up, and I believe I've used this 4 times since I last shopped my stash. I really do like this. It's nice. I don't think it's really my colors, especially this half of the palette. This shade is definitely the standout for me. I think it's beautiful, and I mean, I think you can see that it's definitely the color I've used most often. I like this a lot. It is a really pretty shade. And you know, these are good for what they are. Just super coppery, orangey colors are not my personal favorites. The other eyeshadow I pulled was this NYX Ultimate Edit in Ash, and specifically what I wanted to use were these 3 shades. And I did use all of these shades at least once. In fact, I think I used all of them twice, though I can't swear to this blue in the middle. This shade I've definitely gained a huge appreciation for. When I first got this color, I was trying to use it both in the crease and in the transition area. And what I'm realizing is this is a little bit too blue for that to work on me. It starts looking not bruise-like, but sort of deathly with it shoot out. However, it does work really nicely in the crease, and if I blend it out with something just a tad warmer, and it also works pretty well as an outer corner shade or as liner. If I've got something like, say, this shade going on all over the lid, this blue I'm just not impressed with. There's something just okay about it. It doesn't blow me away. It's not particularly shiny, but it's not particularly impactful. It's not as light as I want it to be. Based on what it looks like in the pan, it shows up a little darker or a little more dull. And I didn't have other blue eyeshadows when I bought this palette. Now I do have some other blue eyeshadows that are more along the lines of what I'm looking for, and I just don't see myself reaching for this very often. This blue actually does work quite well as an outer corner shade. I think that's probably how I would use it most of the time. I could also see myself using it as liner occasionally. All right, now let's move on to this week's additions to my Shop My Stash. Again, I have 2 pairs of earrings. I have these adorable little sharks. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to show these off, but here they are. They sort of look like they're biting your ears and hanging off of them. You know, they're just a little novelty piece, but I think they're really cute. And I bought these thinking that they would be really great to wear. You know, I wear quite a bit of sort of more plain, solid tops with sweaters on them during fall and winter, and I thought this would be just kind of a cute little thing to add a little bit more personality to an outfit. But I just don't wear them. I think I've worn these like 3 or 4 times because I just don't think about them. They don't really fit very well on my display that I keep my earrings on, so they have to kind of sit at the bottom, and then I just don't see them there and think to wear them. So, going to wear these. I pulled a second pair of earrings. I love these, and I actually do wear them quite a bit. These are, there are 3 little leaves. There's a gold one, a silver one, and sort of a rose gold coppery one. They're not super big, but they are just enough that they can go with anything. And I think they're adorable, and this is exactly the time of year that I want to be getting a ton of use out of these. I don't think I pulled any nail stuff last week. This week, I don't really intend to use all of these, but I just sort of wanted to introduce these as something that I'm going to be working on. I have these 4 mini nail polishes that are all from Ulta Beauty. They all came in a set. They're all quite nude. I don't know, they're sort of pastel, but not bright enough to be really stunning pastels. I think the way I'm going to use most of these, in particular these two, is in conjunction with other darker nail polishes. That's what I've actually done this week. I have this sort of pinky nude on half of this nail, half of this nail, as well as this whole nail. And I really do like this color combination. I think I want to play around a little bit more with mixing colors, and I think that these two shades in particular are great candidates for that. I really want to make a point this year of starting to cut down my nail polishes, and I think that panning a couple of these would be a very good start for that. Now on to makeup. Let's start with this, actually. This is Maybelline Ruler. Last year, this was my favorite fall shade. I wore it sort of minimum twice a week. And now that I'm at home, I just haven't been using it. This is a great matte lipstick. It is one that you can touch up really easily. It can sort of layer over itself without having too much of a problem. And when I was going to work/school every day, that was fantastic because it meant I could just apply it in the morning, you know, sip on my water bottle, maybe eat a snack, whatever, all morning. At lunch, eat, then touch up just a little bit at the inner lip, and not really need to worry about it until I got home and decided to take it off. Now that I'm at my house all day, having something be long wearing is not nearly as much of a concern. So though the color is beautiful, and I really do love it, I just haven't found myself using this. I'm keeping track of usage for my Project 100 uses on most of these things, and I think I've only used this twice in like the last almost 2 months. So time for this to get some use. It's lovely, and I think this is probably the last fall I'll have it. I've had 2 of these lipsticks previously, and they both dried out right about at the 2-year mark. So need to use this. Excuse you. And because I decided to pull this sort of deep rose shade, I pulled my e.l.f. multi-stick in the shade Sparkling Rose to go with it. I thought that this would play really nicely as a blush with it. That is not a good swatch. Let me do a better job. All right, there's a little bit of a better swatch. I thought that this would pair nicely as a blush with this color. I also thought, because this has a little bit of a sparkle to it, that it might be nice to tap on the center of the lid after I have this on, just to give a little bit of a different effect. And I just want to be making use of my cream blushes. I know that these do not have a terribly long shelf life. I don't know how long I can reasonably expect this particular product to stay good. I'm guessing that e.l.f. says a year. I really hope it's not just a year, because I mean, that is how little I've actually used up of it, and I've used this quite a bit. So hopefully I get more like 2 years out of it, but still want to make a dent. I pulled one other cheek product. This is my Essence Pure Nude highlighter. It is what I'm wearing today, actually also with the blush on my cheeks. I really think this is quite pretty. It does get a little bit dark for me starting right around this time of year. Honestly, it's probably a little too dark for me most of the time, but it starts getting noticeably too dark for me around this time of year. So I want to use this, and I have recently purchased 2 other highlighters, and I've just been using those instead, sort of as blush toppers, and this has been getting neglected, so we're going to change that. And finally, I have my eyeshadow pick. I actually did a good job of using most of these products today. I have this green shade over most of my lid, and then I deepened things up in the outer corner with this darker brown. This is the e.l.f. 70s Fields eyeshadow palette. I think it is really a lovely color scheme. This blue was actually one of the ones that I was talking about how it just seems to fit the types of colors, the types of blues that I want better than the one I showed in the next palettes. This sort of purpley silvery shade is stunning. This is one of the prettiest just shimmery browns. I know, basic, but it's such a good version of that. There's a rose gold. I know that I love this, but I just have so much eyeshadow right now. I need to not buy any more eyeshadow for probably quite a while. And even though I love this, it's just not been getting much use the last few weeks. So I'm going to make a point of using that. And I really want all of my makeup not to look gross, but to look well used. And I don't think this does right now. I mean, I think you can see my fingerprints in some of these, but it looks too new. And this is a really stunning palette that should look very well loved. Okay, it looks like I have my work set out for me for the next couple weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you will consider liking and subscribing if you did. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!